What up, everybody? Welcome to the Grid and Grind Show. This is episode 2. This is part 2 of a double dose of grid action tonight. As most of you know, we talked to Chelsea Ranieri, captain of the Southwest Florida Sharks. Caught up with her, talked a little bit about kind of like an interlude into what we're going to be talking about tonight, which is a breakdown of the Sharks and the Breakers and all of the week 1 action of United Grid League. But last week, we gave you a teaser. We did some bets. We had the two coaches squaring off with each other. We had them talking smack, talking shit. They were bantering back and forth, a whole lot of fun, and we loved it so much that now that the match is over, we had to bring them back, and we got to square up and settle up on some debts that are owed. We got to talk about the weekend that was, and we got to talk about the upcoming weeks that will be. So first, we'll bring to the stage Matt Hornaday, coach of the Palm Beach Breakers. Matt, you know, it's crazy that the last time this episode started, it started the same way with Fico bouncing off like right at the beginning. You know, I don't know what you're telling him backstage, but clearly it's working. You're in his head, and we'll bring him on
Saturday. It didn't work here. Saturday. I honestly don't know. You started the show again, and then I just lost audio again. I have no idea why. Sorry.
Well, he is back. Well, guys, obviously this weekend was the week 1 of the 2026 United Grid League season, and we talked about it last week. You guys had a week 1 matchup, had a showdown. There was a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss, but Fico, I got to start with you. Your team ended up winning. Give me a performance grade A, B, C, D, or F for this past week against the Breakers.
I would say C. I don't think we perform up to our standards. Not saying taking away from obviously the Breakers, they did good, but there's some races and some things that we didn't perform up to par. On my opinion, we end up with a win, which is. Obviously, that's the goal, regardless of how you perform. Doesn't matter what you do. If you had a bad day or not, is end up with a W. But, yeah, no, I think there's things we need to improve. But, yeah.
So, Matt, what about you? If you're grading your team, obviously a hard-fought, match, come up a little bit short, came down to sprint relay. But what would you grade your team?
Well, now that he graded his team a C, I mean, that changes it. No, it doesn't change anything for me. I definitely gave. I thought about it after the match. I gave my squad an A- for sure. There was that's based on other things that were going on and stuff like that. But I think my squad came out and they played very well. And I was proud of how they executed. I wish we could have executed a little bit better. Like one more race, but I was proud of how they finished. It gave us a lot of encouragement for things that we're able to clean up, and those are definitely things that will be easy for us to clean up, and for how we should finish out this season. So definitely A-.
Yeah, no doubt. Fico, we talked about last week about going into the season, kind of everybody's going to give you their best shot. Do you think this was basically the start of that, where every week you're going to get A-, A+ performance from each team that steps on the grid against you guys?
Yeah, of course. I think every team goes in trying to win. Doesn't matter who you go against. But obviously, when you have like, oh, this is the champ, oh, this is the best team, you get the extra, to kind of like, when you're hurting on that triad, you're still gonna go harder. When you kind of tired on the echo, you kind of go harder. So yeah, we expected it. Obviously, they performed very, very well. I'm just looking at from our standpoint, it was more on the preparation, not so much on the execution. We didn't prepare as we normally prepare. Nothing to take care of them. It was nothing like the ringers. It's not they won all the ringers and they won it fair and square. Like that has nothing to do with my grading. It was mostly on the preparation on some of the races.
So Matt, we get it. Let's get into the match a little bit. Obviously, it's a slow start. I mean, I guess a slow start. I mean, somebody's got to win the race, somebody's got to lose the race. But you dropped the first two, and really, what are you guys thinking? Did you know going in that the partner forward and the mirror would be tough, or did you think you would split, or did you think you would take both of those?
Nah, we had a game plan, and we anticipated partner forward was going to be tight, but we might have a little bit of a shot if we could move a little bit faster. But there was a change that we were considering making going into that race because Alyssa came into the match hurt, and we were debating about making a sub there so that she didn't have to go. But she was a trooper, and she fought through it and tried to push through it as much as she possibly could, which we definitely love and appreciate her for that. Because we still believe that would give us our best option to win rather than making a massive change that could have potentially changed our whole game plan for the match. And so we knew that partner forward and mirror were going to be two tougher races for us. But we had planned there. We were very strategic with where we put our ringer, and we put it there to be able to give us another kick in the event that we had 2 losses coming up in those first 2 races. But when we ended up winning the first ringer, so their ringer, that already just kickstarted the momentum for our squad.
Yeah, we'll get into that here in a minute. I did note I had Alyssa 100% question mark. Going into it, like as I watched it back today, to me it looked like, in that partner forward and in that mirror, she didn't really look like she was 100%. But as the match went on, she kind of like maybe toughed it out, but it seemed like she felt better. And I think it was because she was doing more. But where is she at currently as far as health? Is it good that you guys have this extended amount of time, or is this something that's going to be lingering for the year?
No, we need the 2 months. So we need the 2 months to let her heal her body up a little bit. And then she'll be fine. But like there's certain things that she could do that didn't impact her injury. Mm-hmm. So when you saw her in mirror, that wasn't a major impact to her. When you saw her in echoes, not a major impact there. It did impact her on ladder because she would have easily hit that 4th bar in a normal stance, but she couldn't. If you saw it, she couldn't get into the squat, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was the problem there. And so, but outside of that, like she's still able to function. We just need to get her healed up. So any physical therapists out there that are looking to help an athlete, hit me up. Let's get you linked up with Alyssa so we can get my girl back in shape.
There you go. Fico, you guys come out of the gates, you win the first 2 races, and then you go into the ringer. As you're preparing for this ringer, you're up to, you're up. What is the team's mentality? Because it seems that, and we'll get into this with Matt a little bit, and he alluded to it, is the momentum after that first ringer started to shift. Was it you guys kind of got complacent? Did you get put back on your heels? Like what was going on in those first 2 matches? Did you guys just kind of tone it down, or they just beat you?
No, I mean, first of all, that ringer was unreal. I had that as a win for sure. There's no doubt Dave was going to win, and he improved on his previous time too. But Haley did something that nobody has done, and actually to me, it was baffled me. She actually landed on a running position. That was it. David was faster on the flips. It was all on the landing. And she took a lead on the running position. So
if you noticed, it was almost every single rep she landed that way. And that way on that 3rd rep, like she was ready to just bolt. And
yeah. She did what Chelsea does on her back handspring. That why make her so good. You just kind of land and go. Maybe that's why female gymnasts practice that. I don't know, but it was so fast. She landed and bolted. Even the year before, she didn't do that. So when she did it, so maybe she practiced a different technique or whatever. But yeah, I mean, fair and square. She took it. So there's nothing on that. And
Josh said they trained it specifically.
Matt, I figured.
Yeah. How many videos?
Actually, to give you guys the details behind that, nobody knows how much Josh Josh does behind the scenes. I mean, I guess you guys know a little bit about grid stats, all that stuff, but like this man puts in a shit ton of work, right? I mean, a lot of work. Sorry, don't know if we're concussed, but he puts in a lot of work, and so he's looking at those little things for us and trying to find ways that we can make a little advantage. And so he brought that up to Haley, and Haley worked her butt off to be able to do that. And I mean, all credit goes to the two of them for finding the strategy and working on that strategy until she could lock it down.
Well, now it seems to be that's going to be the norm. Fico,
we got
you
then.
Yeah, you gotta perfect it. She's gonna chime in. She said, "My thoughts were pill, pray, and freaking run." They did talk about the little points she could shave off some time and give her the best shot possible. Obviously, it worked.
And if you if you see the I don't know if Matt you saw it or not, but I saw it because obviously I was on the losing end, so they had to show it to me. It was, when I tell you it was so close, it was like by the last, like this little of his Davis feet was still over the line, and Haley's not. So Haley brought their feet together a little quicker, like in, and David was still like a longer stride, and that was it. So it was like so close. It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what's really amazing is you did some trolling today for our boy Matt Hornaday. Matt, that I don't know who would have been faster, you or Haley crossing the finish line, but you basically ran out of your loafers, man. That wasn't the plan, I'm sure. But obviously, very exciting, very good moment. It's definitely what your team needed to kind of spark you guys back into it. If you don't win that, do you think the match gets away from y'all?
I don't think the match gets away from us because we it wasn't one that we had as a lock-in. We were like, same thing, put our best effort out there and see if we could steal it. And so instead of it getting away from us, what it did was it kind of gave us that little bit extra. It gave us that momentum that we were looking for a race earlier.
Right. So, Fico, how important is it to have Valerie Cintron?
Oh, very. I'm finally glad that she's getting the credit she deserves. I mean, she's been doing this for a while. And yes, you don't see her doing any of the flashy movements. You don't see her doing any of the other stuff. But she's one of the most consistent players out there. I don't even like. There's things that you have to players that you and everybody coach have. Every team has this on baseball, basketball, that stuff. You tell them, hey, I need you to do something, and you don't have to say anything else. That's it. It will get done. And that's kind of it. So no, she's very important. She's been more vocal as well this year. So no, she's a workhorse.
What about having Shaquem back? Is he 100%?
No, he's still not 100%. Shaquem is still obviously coming back from shoulder surgery. He might not be able to do a lot of the things. We're taking it slowly. He was on 2 races as a wild card, kind of help us out in there. But no, he's not 100% back yet, but he's working on it.
Yeah, but I'm sure in whatever limited capacity that he is, he did have some big moments in week 1 for you guys. But I'm sure whatever capacity, it's nice to have him as help.
No, he's one of the most athletic players in the league, and he can do so many things. Super strong, super athletic. We're glad to have him, and his role in the team is also very important. Not only like he's super nice guy, super helpful to everybody else. So it's not only just on the grid, also outside of the grid, he's important.
Yeah, he was moving those bars for sure in the ladder, and shout out to Josh. I don't know if he was pulling the wool over my eyes, but he was very not so positive going into the ladder because he was doubting himself in quad 4. But when I watched it back today, Matt, it didn't even look like it was a big deal. Like I thought to myself, like, what is he like? Was he chasing a hug from me just to be like, hey man, you got this, you can do it, or like what the hell is up?
Hey, I was sitting there watching him, and I was like, he's gonna deadlift, drop it, deadlift again, and then clean it. And he was just like, nope, one deadlift drop, deadlift clean, back to back. And I was like, okay, works for me.
He said he was slow, but I mean, I think this is one where everyone is slow to an extent. I do want to ask, because of this type of formatted ladder, Matt, and I'll start with you. Why is it that you chose, and I think Fico, you guys did the same thing, but Matt, you guys chose to start in quad 2 with almost everybody, if not everybody. If you know you can do quad 2, why, like, help walk me through why is it just time? Why we didn't just go to quad 1 and hit that bar real quick if you know you can do it?
Well, you saw the results, right?
Yes.
And so the big difference was the amount of time that you spend hitting bar 1 and the amount of points that you get for it versus moving down the grid a little bit more.
Right.
And again, I can't even take the credit for that. Assistant coach Josh came up with that strategy. So, and we had a game plan for that, and it worked.
And Fico, you guys, I think, did the same thing. Most of your athletes went and started in quad 2. Walk me through your vantage point of this ladder. Obviously, you end up with a 0. So let's talk about the strategy first, then we'll get into the score.
So the strategy from us was ladies will hit the four bars, the guys will go 2, 3, 4. That was our strategy. We try to keep the time base, obviously. So I'm trying to give the athletes about 30 seconds. Our ladies are super strong at power cleaning and deadlift, so they can actually run it through on that time. The guys did not. So the guys go 2, 3, and 4. Also, we have 5 girls. So if in case we can go an extra person, our goal was 8. If we can go to 9, we still have Chelsea, which Chelsea can hit some of those bars. When on the other side, we had David that you cannot. So you would leave, obviously, David for last. But yeah, that was our strategy. Ladies can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Guys 2, 3, 4. But obviously, we didn't execute. We missed a lot.
Was that part of the reason, Nick? I see him as he's running on the grid. He goes to quad 2, and I can see him look over at you. Mm-hmm. And then he skips quad 2 and goes to quad 3. Was that just a time thing?
Yeah. I was trying to get the most points as possible. I knew he could even do 4, but I wanted to guarantee him to do 3. So, yeah. And at that point, I didn't keep with the score. So, yeah, it didn't matter. But yeah.
Are y'all able to kind of track what the other team is doing so you have an idea, like, or is it just I've got my strategy, we're gonna do that, and whatever, however it scores, it scores?
Because you're trying to, it's even hard to keep up with your own, trying to do the math as you're trying to like tell them, like, you can obviously, but it's not as simple as, oh yeah, I got 40. No, like it is. Yeah.
I think there's only like 2 Rain Man in the league, Dan Jackson and Josh Newell, who can probably like instantly keep up with the numbers as it's going. I'm sitting there looking at my sheet, and I'm like, okay, we made those bars. Okay, good. Did we miss one? Oh, we missed that one. Okay, good. And then like that's how I'm trying to keep up with my score. Is just what was our game plan and what did we hit and what did we miss?
That's why from the stat standpoint on the sidelines, you have 3 people. You have 6 people taking score on ladder, 3 for one team, 3 for the other, just so that they can compare and make sure that all the scores are matching. But clearly, Fico, something happened in the ladder, and you guys didn't get any points. And we'll get into the repercussions of this ladder loss here in a second, but what was the explanation to you as far as why you guys didn't get points for that?
My team didn't prepare. They didn't realize how this ladder was going to affect them after doing some of the races prior. That was it. Simple as that. They didn't prepare. And that was, yeah. And it's on me for a little bit, but it's also on them. that ladder is probably the most I've been embarrassed as a coach, honestly. Not gonna lie. And it's not about the miss. I tell people it's like I don't care about failure. That's gonna happen. I'm okay with, you know, you're failing a rep. That's part of it. That's game. You're gonna miss a shot, you miss anything, all that stuff. But we just didn't prepare. Um there. But no, we're good. We talked about it. I think we are on the track now, and watch out.
So Matt, there was a wager at stake on this ladder. Care to refresh us on what that was?
So we had two bets.
Yeah.
One was the winner. What happens if the team wins overall, right? The match, and it was jorts versus suits. I lost that one. Then bet number two was if there was a 10-point or greater variance in ladder, that there would have to be a penalty for that.
Yeah. And I almost put my house on it.
Almost. I could have had a whole other sale. I could have had commission checks.
I mean, that is so true.
Yeah,
yeah. I told you Matt was going to flip that thing in a minute.
So
the Breakers would have then been sponsored by Fico Gomez.
Oh yeah. So there is a debt that is owed. I think Fico and I need to discuss how that debt gets paid out, because we have two losers here. So we got to work on that. But debts do need to be paid.
That's what will be coming for everyone that wants to know. There will be jorts in the future, and there will be some type of penalty. Not as lucrative as it could have been with a house, but something definitely not fun. So Fico, going back to the ladder, but also I saw zeros for the first time on a scoreboard for the Sharks, maybe that I've ever seen. What does that do for confidence, but also as a coach, when you start seeing not one, but 2 zeros back to back pop up, like, what do you tell them? Because I know you pulled them to the back and there was a conversation that was had. And I think I asked somebody in one of the interviews what was said, and it was a lot of coach speak, but I'll ask you, what did you say to them? Or was it you even talking to them?
No, it was me. Obviously I just told them this regroup. I thought they were like flat, meaning like, no emotions, no nothing like that. And that was it. I mean, obviously a lot of like, we got this type of stuff. Yeah, no. I think at that point they were good. They responded, let's put it that way. Getting 2 zeros back to back is not a normal thing, especially against a great team. Like, they're coming for you. So they responded. And that's all I could ask for as a coach. They listened, they regroup, and they responded. And just as why that ringer 0, that's just one of, sometimes there's ringers that it is what it is. And the same thing is like the burpee to ring or something like that, like it's easily to miss. Like I think Brandon did an excellent job. He got there first to the bar. He started the pull first. I thought he catched it. It just has, this heavy weight. If you move a little bit, to the back, he pulled a little bit too much, and that was it. It was nothing he did wrong. That 0, it didn't bother me at all. He gave it a shot. That was their ringer. He's trying to steal it, kind of, So yeah, no, it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, in that particular ringer, there's no upside to trying it for a second time. Yeah. You're not gonna finish even if you do hit it. So like, you got to take your 0 at that point and chalk it up. Matt, when you see 2 zeros go in, you guys start moving ahead. What's the mentality? What are you saying to the team? Because at that point, you can start focusing on what you got to do for end game. But what was the conversation to the team like at that point, once you guys pull ahead and you go, all right, now we have 2 zeros. Now we got a little bit of a cushion here.
Not necessarily a cushion, because these guys are phenomenal at triads. And so we didn't think it was going to be that easy. We did think, I'll tell you this, like we did go into Jack and Jill thinking that we would have performed better. But here's the thing, and if you look at 2024 when we played versus 2026, the Sharks got better. Like you guys changed your strategy and improved. And I watched that and I was like, kudos, Fico won that one. Like you beat me on that one, no question about it. And our thought process was, okay, we're going to go in here, we'll grab this win on Jack and Jill, and then we'll march into triads, right? And so that one was a little bit of a blow to us, knowing how strong they are in triads. So then it was like, oh, we got to buckle it up. And so we talked about it, and we knew what we needed to do. We knew what we needed to do for the rest of the race, and we thought, worst case scenario, if it comes down to sprint relay, it comes down to the best race possible, right? Yeah. But they got us on that one as well.
So Fico, when you guys go into Jack and Jill and you win, do you feel anything like, all right, now they're listening to me, now that sense of emotion is there, that flatness that once was there is kind of gone, now we have some momentum? Or were you guys still like, head down, let's just keep doing our thing?
No, head down, let's keep doing our thing. Yeah, like we were still down. We still got to perform. One missed rep, one miscommunication, one miss assignment wrong, one missed failure, the match gets away from you because we were behind. So no, it was focus all ahead and yeah, full throttle.
But knowing that you had triads coming up after that and knowing what Matt just said about how good you guys have been historically in triads, obviously you got to feel good about where the trajectory of the match is now headed once you take Jack and Jill.
Yeah. I mean, just triad has always been so good, and we are going to, and we prepare for those, and our girls are also. But we also had especially on the female side, we had Sammy playing first time pregnant, where she has not the same. So she normally does a different role, different things. She normally does the burpees, but now being pregnant, she cannot do the burpees. That type of stuff, or not. She can. It's just not ideal. And that type of stuff. So we changed the game plan. So we were not like a normal. It's always like female trial for me is normal. That's a win. This one was, I think it's gonna be a win if they execute. But they step up. Sammy did, Sydney did, they all did step up. So yeah, props to the ladies that hold the fort down.
And so Matt, you guys drop Jack and Jill. You now go into triad. Do you think in your mind, hey, if we can just take one of these two triads, like we have a really good shot of winning this? Or was winning out of the vernacular as far as what you're telling the team?
No, we were 100%. We're like, we grab one of these, we got it locked up. We felt very confident about the fan voted ringer. That was the one that we wanted. And so we were like, all right, if we can pull one of these triads out, we can lock this race up. We can lock this match up.
So I talked to Chelsea earlier and I asked her about the fan voted ringer, and she had mixed reviews about it. But I now want to ask both of you, Fico, I'll start with you. Now that you've had a week where you've been into this fan voted ringer and it made a difference in 3 of the 4 matches this weekend, what's your thought moving forward with this fan voted ringer?
It's the same thought that I thought when it started. I knew it was going to happen. So, and when you think about it as an owner, and what brought to the league, I think I like it. It brought excitement. It brought people, going to vote, interaction from the fans. I think all that. But from a coaching standpoint, it brings some different wrinkle, man. We have, there's an extra race, and a race that can definitely go easily 2-0, and it can flip a match in there or keep somebody in it. We saw it from the Bandits, I think. And we saw it from different, not in our match, but on other matches as well, that it really matters. So yeah, no, it is going to matter. It's here to stay. Yeah.
Matt, what's your thoughts on it now that you've been a part of it for a week?
Thank you to our fans. Like, we asked them to step in and support, and they did. And so thank you a million times over. There's definitely some additional strategy that can be used with that fan voted ringer. And going through the process and seeing how it worked, like we obviously don't know the exact numbers or anything like that, but like just seeing how the process worked, we will continue to try and work the process. No question about that. But go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if you guys listened to Chelsea Ranieri earlier, she's a teacher and she made all of her students go on and vote for the ringer.
That's smart.
which is a smart idea.
That's really smart.
But what's crazy is during the match, I've got to report who's doing the fan voted ringer for each team. And I remember Fico coming to you and I said, "Hey, who's doing the ringer?" And you go, "I don't know." And then you go, "Well, when do you got to know by?" And I'm like, after this race. He's like, "Oh, well, hold on, let me find out." And like that's kind of that strategy piece where it is really hard when you know the options, but also like not knowing what exactly it is really makes it tough because one, you've got to worry about what you're currently doing. And then two, you got to worry about what that person is going to potentially have to do after that ringer. So there's a lot of strategy that goes into it. Was it a hard pick for you, Fico, like to decide who is actually doing that?
Yeah. So no, I only had two. It was between two people. It was not. It was, and then I obviously asked Concepcion, which is my assistant coach, owner, whatever. I was like, talk to these two guys. Whoever gives you the, I got this. We'll go with them. At that point, you were asking me, it's like, well, I don't know who it is because I haven't talked to them, so I wasn't sure. But they already figured out. They knew. I just didn't knew that, but it was between them two. Normally, originally, was gonna be Sydney always, and he ended up being Sydney, but Sydney got a lot more volume than normal. She played the whole match. Normally on this match, she usually just does like the triad and the precision relay, all that stuff. So she did more volume. So, we make sure she was good, and she was good, and she did great. I thought she did great. I think that it's that win 50 is obviously a lot easier for guys to just pick it up. So,
yeah. And then Matt, for you, obviously, you guys, this was the ringer that you wanted. So you knew I guess you already knew who you were going to send out there to do this.
Yeah. I mean, we had a couple options on our end as well. Just more of based on level of fatigue or anything like that. But we knew who we wanted to do it and what our game plan would be there for sure.
Definitely executed, definitely much needed win. And so then it sets up this dynamic of basically winner take all. Prior to this sprint relay, was there anything that, as a coach, and Matt, I'll start with you, anything that you wished you would have done differently or a different strategy prior to sprint relay that would have made it not come down to sprint relay to decide it all? Or is it strictly just it was a hard fought match back and forth and it ended up being sprint relay because we're two really good teams and that's what it came down to?
I mean, there was a couple earlier races that we let get away, right? Like the second Echo, we were in position to take that one, and we let it slip. Jack and Jill was one that we talked about. That was just, again, that was coaching, right? And Fico beat me on coaching on that one. Triads, we just had little slip ups in there that messed it up, but that one, you guys were clean on those. Then we could have we could have thrown a bonus flag on that fan voted ringer. But realistically, even if we would have done that, it still would have came down to sprint relay. I assume you guys would have thrown your bonus flag to lock it up from that perspective. So like that wouldn't have changed anything as the number is laid out. But the bigger thing was us pulling out Echo 2. And then also being able to secure Jack and Jill. But that was, dude, you hear me keep on talking about it. That was such a learning experience on my end. And that one was a major, like, all right, I know what we need to do.
Fico,
Dude,
from your end.
Echo 2, sorry, I was going to say Echo 2 was just, I don't even know how we won that one.
I mean,
we ended up doing like 22 ring muscle ups. We did.
Really?
David had like six faults.
But we didn't know about them. That was the whole issue. But that's another thing.
According to Chelsea, he wasn't locking out, but the referee never explained that to him. Chelsea was the one that had to tell him that after the fact. So, but anyhow, like,
the ref is good. It's up to him to up to the standard. But it was a shock when you're and they're like, it wasn't counting, and you think you're doing 6, and there's like 2, and you're like, what?
Ball? Like I mean, I'd never seen that ball fly around as much as we saw it in those 2 hours.
Oh, that's true. That too. Yeah,
that was crazy.
But outside of stuff like that, Fico, anything that you would have done differently throughout the match as a coach?
Nah, not as a coach. I think, we could have prepared better. I think the strategy was good. Some people, we just sometimes didn't execute. Some people got faulted. That's just how it goes. It's grid. This format is a good team. If we make a mistake, they're going to capitalize. Same as them. They made a mistake, we capitalize. It's just, it went back and forth. It is what it is.
So, Matt, going into sprint relay, where did you think the critical point of sprint relay would come?
So,
I think everybody knows.
You know what happened. So,
remember, I have to ask questions that I already know the answer to, unfortunately.
Yeah. So let's talk about what happened right before sprint. And you asked what would we do differently. I think we would not allow Josh to touch anything before a race. So my boy was testing out his dumbbell burpees over the box, and or let me rephrase that. He was testing out his shappies, right?
32 seconds before it starts.
And he trips over the box, falls over, completely, like, I don't know if it's broken or dislocated or what the hell he did to his finger, but the bone was out. There is blood all over it. And like you said, this is 30-something seconds before the race starts. I looked at him. Once he looks up and looks at his hand, I looked down to the finish line to find his wife, and his wife is just like, what the fuck? And so then she's coming back.
Dude, you guys have kids. So when your kid does something stupid and like you go in like full parent mode, I see Shay from the other end of the grid just like charging down, and I was like, oh shit, it's about to go down right now.
I'm sitting there like, is there such thing as an injury timeout? Like, I start walking over towards Brandon, and then they're like 10 seconds. I'm like, get my butt off the grid. I'm looking over at Josh, and Josh is just taping his finger up. And so I'm like, you know what? Let's just let it ride and see what happens.
Yeah, and the shitty part about this is that's who you're starting the sprint relay with. Like, it's not like you can try to build up some leading into that element. No, he's got to go out and start it. I mean, he did a decent job giving everything, but it definitely could have been prevented.
He still did good.
Yeah. But the thing is that, again, you guys got Shappy on those dumbbell pistol thrusters, and you guys saw, I mean, you guys smashed the championship last year with that, right? And we knew that coming into it. So we're like, we need to get a little bit of a lead to be able to at least, maintain some space with them at that point in time. And that was the downside, right? Like, I I mean, there was other things that happened in that race. It wasn't just that. Like things were still kind of moving. We need to be better than decent. Unfortunately, that is very true. But yeah, that definitely threw a blow into at least the start of the race. But the rest of the team still tried to rally, but the Sharks just ended up taking a massive lead. Even outside of that movement, it wasn't like that movement. We weren't down significantly from that movement. It was still close. It was as we continued the additional movements that things started to go downhill.
Fico, going in, did you think there was any element where we have to capitalize on this particular moment for us to win this?
Oh, just the first one. Yeah. If we're tied there or just a little behind, I know Chappie will catch us up. So it's us very hard to lose that race. Honestly, it is. I'm sorry, it is. He's so good at those pistol thrusters, and it's very hard to keep up with him. So yeah. And then we're good at everything else, like triple touches. Chelsea super fast. Ring muscle ups. You can put David or Q. That will be just as good as anybody. Just go down the line. We will find. We will probably be slower on the overhead squats a little bit, but that's why we will have the lead. Roderick did an awesome job. We will be. It would have been for us to make a big mistake for us to lose that race, honestly.
Yeah, and so we end up with the Sharks victorious. And Matt, what's the message to the team after it's over?
I mean, you played the champs, right? And you lost by a point. And we had opportunities to secure 2 points that would have made that, a non-issue. And so it was positive for us. We looked at this matchup as it's going to show us where we're at and show us what we need to work on. And, we've got 2 months to do that. We've got a huge gap in the middle of our season. Well, actually at the beginning of our season. And so that's part of like just when Fico was talking about preparation this year, like going into match 1 was different than how it had been in last year compared to last year, just because, you don't want to get your athletes, like you don't want them to burn out too early. And if we would have done like our normal strategy, these guys would have probably burnt out before we got to August. This is a longer season than we've had in the past. And so we had to be strategic about that as well. And one of the things that we talked about with our team is that August is extremely important. It's 75% of our season. This match was important to us too. Don't get it wrong. But it wasn't going to end our season. We wanted to play well. We wanted it to be close. We wanted to win. We got 2 of those 3 things, and it gave us the right momentum, and it gave the team the right energy to go into August, right? So I feel good.
Now, Fico, obviously on the winning end, but probably not the way that you wanted to get there. So what's your message to the team after it's over with?
No, I think it was, we got the end goal. I mean, it's to win. We won. It wasn't pretty. There's some things that we have to improve on. Let's get to work. I mean, it was simple as that. It's not a, look ourselves in the mirror and see, if we did enough or we have done enough to be prepared for grid. And if you haven't, then let's get work on that. But we got the win. So, and bottom line, we won. So that was the it's still positive.
Winning cures all, man, is what they say. So you guys get a chance to, in a few weeks, you head to Lakeland. You're going to take on the Palms. All right. Obviously, the Palms, you could dice it up however you want. I think they gave one away that they should have probably won, and they probably would agree with that too. Bandits, maybe, on the other hand, said, we stole it away from them. We earned it. However you look at it, you got a team that's 0-1 that's got to win. Like, this is a crucial match for them. Is there a strategy? Are you guys just going to do what you do because that's the mantra? Is there anything different that you have to change because of how this first match went down?
It's just preparation. No, we have to prepare just like we will play anybody. We're just gonna play one race at a time, like we always done. The Palms has always been that team that scrappy. I don't know how to describe it. It's just they're always there. You know, they're gonna win some races. They're gonna be good at some things. They're always gonna be battle. You can never count them out from a match, for a race, for a playoff at all. They're always there. They have a lot of veterans. I know they have some rookies that made some mistakes, but they besides that they look good. Just some strategy like mistakes, but whatever. No, I think same thing. We're ready, prepare, and let's see what happens. They do though. Things that we have to prepare are some ringers. These are the big thing now. It really is. Who you go against? Oh, are we gonna see Briley against Chelsea doing a back handsprings? All this type of stuff. Um, what ringers are we gonna be doing and things like that. We do have to strategize about those because they're players, they know our players, so go from there.
And so, Matt, you're kind of on the opposite end of this. Now you have a chance to rest some players. You have 2 months before you're back on the grid. What's the plan? Is it trying to like practice on these little things, or is it, to me, it's like the motivation to keep everybody engaged with this long layoff might be the hardest?
No, that's so our plan, we didn't do a preseason camp. And so we knew that we would have to do it in this 2-month window, in this 2-month gap. And so our first camp for the year is going to happen in between this window. And so we've already mapped out our whole schedule for June, July, and heading into August. And then we mapped out our schedule for August as well. And so everybody knows what we need to do. We had our team meeting last night to go over all the details. And so we've mapped out all expectations, everything that needs to be delivered when we're meeting together as a full team in person and where we're meeting. And then also when we're going to be doing virtual practices. So, it's this way makes it, and we give them breaks too, right? To prevent the burnout. But like the strategy that we did with our schedule over these next 2 months, and how our athletes execute that strategy is going to dictate how the rest of the season goes.
Gotcha. So where is camp going to be? When are you looking to hold that?
You going to attend?
I don't know, man. I mean, most likely. We talked about this. My kid's schedule dictates my entire life. So outside of my little blip on the radar, which is grid, the weeks that I go, like I'm like a just confined to their schedule. But I mean, if it was possible, I would definitely try to make it for sure.
We're trying to bring grid to Nashville, man. That's our
Nashville.
And so we're gonna go out to Nashville, and we're gonna do our camp out there.
Strategic. I gotcha. Is there a connection in Nashville, or is just
it's a good central location for us, for our athletes. We have an athlete that's there now. That's where Evan lives. And so our Bama crew can get there fairly easy. Our Florida crew can fly there fairly easy. It's still a relatively decent sized airport. So like the people that live in Colorado and in Oregon, they can get there, right? We have some athletes that will be able to drive there as well. So it's a good central location for us. Atlanta was another option that we considered, but we locked in Tennessee, locked in Nashville. Plus, like, we're gonna bring the whole team out. We got to let them have some fun too.
Oh, for sure. You'll definitely enjoy the life that Nashville brings. Very different than Florida, I'm sure. I don't know if you've been there, but it's very different. But I guess now we've broken down your match. Any takeaways from the weekend from other matches? Fico, I'll start with you. Other teams that impressed you, other people, other elements of other matches that you were like, oh shit, that's something I need to look for?
No, I think the talent, dude, the rookies. I saw a lot of rookies with like huge potential. The Wild, the Palms, The Brigade has that guy that was running his hands. I want to see Mighty Mouse against, I forgot his name, I'm sorry, but I know he was running his hands. Um, and there's a lot of rookies in there, so it's gonna be a good season. Obviously, the Lions they improve with their additions to the roster. So no, I think it's gonna be a fun season. It's gonna be a very interesting season. I think sadly it's gonna come down to tiebreakers, and we'll see how that goes.
Who said
see how
that?
they go. We'll see how that goes.
How do you feel about your vote on tiebreakers now? You still prefer
What?
I said, how do you feel about your vote on tiebreakers now? Do you think it was still the right decision? Do you feel like should have changed that one? I mean, it doesn't matter, but I'm just curious.
Honestly, I think it should still. It doesn't really matter. I think I wasn't strongly on either one. I just thought it was just the one that we have is still fine, and I like at the end of the season knowing, or I like to know what I have to do to be able to win. And that's just
You do know what you have to do. You got to win.
Yeah.
But no, but like
don't-
like if it's a match, it comes down to it. It's like, oh, I have to do this racing extra 30 seconds faster. Like that's just doesn't do my brain doesn't work that way. It's mostly like I need to win by 3 points.
Very true. Now, Matt, what about you from the weekend? Anything that you saw that stuck out to you?
So I didn't really get to watch any of the matches, and I haven't watched any of the replays either. And so I saw bits and pieces here or there. But what I'd say is the scores. So a lot of the scores were really close. I thought it was really cool that the Bandits got their first win ever in the league. And I thought it was cool that the Venom started off with a win as well. And then the Lions had the biggest point differential in a match. And so they came out as they always do. They're like the Patriots of this league, right? Like they're probably the most winning team in the league. They definitely have the most championships. And to see them come out and what did they say to us? What did your boy say? Stomp on their necks or something along those lines.
Taylor Sturgis. He's always good for a sound bite. He did tell me he was going to be a lot more calmer. He's just going to let things speak for itself as far as performance. But we'll see how long that lasts. I like him when he's more vocal. I don't want the reserved Taylor Sturgis. I want him being out there. What do you think race times once they're released? Do you think it's going to tell a different story as far as the teams that lost that are maybe better than what we think, or teams that won that might be not as good as what we think?
We talking about just match week one, or are we saying just overall as it continues?
Just week one. It's hard to. Obviously, we're going to have to wait another week or two before we see like apples to apples comparisons, because not everybody did the same match format. But once everybody's done it, like, what do you think these race times will tell us?
So I think the first week there's always like that beginning of the season jitters and like the stuff that you just got to work out and the little kinks. So you're not always at your fastest in week one. And so I think as I look at it throughout the season, I think the first week you're going to see that some of the teams that lost are going to have faster times than potentially teams that have won, right? But I think you're also going to see that some of those teams that lost that in the future will have even faster times. May have some races where they were a little bit slower, right? In week one, just because it was working out the kinks. And so as the season continues, I think you're going to see those teams that win, lose, or whatever, like you're going to see those times continue to pick up. And then that's when there's going to start to be a little bit more of a gap when it comes down to the tiebreaker.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to say, like, talking to the Brigade, like they feel confident that their race times from what they could see are really good times despite losing to a Lions team. So that tells me one of two things. One, even though they lost, they are going to have a good race time, but the Lions must have really, really good race times if they feel that way. But then again, like Josh says, we really won't know full comparison until Dallas, when everyone has done the match formats. So, Matt, do you think it would you prefer to have everybody each week do the same match format? Or do you like the variance of having multiple match formats?
I prefer the same match all in one weekend. It's just, and I think the whole league would prefer that. Like the league had to do a ton of work to do more than one match. It with us adding teams and how our day can be scheduled, there's only so matches that they can get in a day. And so that means there's only so many teams that can play over a weekend, whether it's a 1 day or a 2 day event. And so this was the best strategy that we could put together based on, based on everything that we had and adding on the additional teams. And so it kind of is what it is. But yeah, I mean, if I had my preference, I feel like if the league had their preference, we would do one match every day.
It makes it so much easier. It makes it so much easier for the referees. It makes it so much easier for the media crew. It makes it so much easier for the equipment. It is. But it, like Matt was saying, not even ChatGPT plus, whatever the best AI version you can get, was able to figure out our schedule. So it was that difficult, honestly. So I'm surprised they even figure it out. Let's put it that way. So
right. ChatGPT, we had like 12 brains together in our owners meeting trying to figure it out. And I know so many people come up and they're like, "Oh, it's super simple. You just do this." Like,
no, it's not.
That's other things you're not thinking about. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. I mean, the logistics of just equipment alone, having multiple matches in a formats in a day, like it makes it tough. But we get what we get, and we're blessed that we get a chance to even just compete. So,
I mean, I guess, I don't know, but maybe from a fan standpoint, it might be cool. You see different matches. You don't see the same one, 4 in a row. Sometimes you can get, so you might see something different. Maybe that's good. I don't know.
Yeah, I had a couple people come over and ask, "Hey, what does this entail? Like, what do they have to do?" And so for the first time I saw the league, they put out like a little one pager that broke down each match format, and there was a QR code where they could go and they could look down the description of all the races, explainers, and all the things that went into it, which was pretty cool because I was able to say, "Hey, here's the match format. Scan this. It'll give you a little bit more insight to how each of these work, how they operate, how it's scored." And then you see them stick around and watch a little bit of the match. I think that was pretty cool. So for me, I'm either way. I would prefer, from a stat standpoint, everybody doing the same match every week. But I don't mind watching a couple matches with one format and a couple matches with the other. Kind of throws a little wrench in there, keeps everybody on their toes. But with that, guys, we're looking at the end here. Fico, I'll let you start. Anything you want to plug or promote, or last minute things that you need to say before we roll into this next week of Grid?
Yeah, so you're probably wondering why I'm wearing these. Go get them on Amazon, baby. Her Athletics. Fins up, baby. They're looking sweet.
Nice.
Go to Amazon and get them. And that's it.
Matt, what you got?
So a couple of things. I want to talk about one thing, which is the pure athleticism that I showed by not falling.
I said that to somebody. I was like, I'm shocked that he stayed on his feet. He was on ice for 10 feet, and then he's just boom, never fell.
My college coach would have been very proud. But no, I don't know if you guys saw a post that I put out earlier today, but State and Liberty, hook your boy up. Trying to work on that sponsorship. Trying to look nice on those sidelines before I have to wear these jorts. So, it's a big one. We've got some other sponsors that we're working with, which is really cool. We started talking to them a little bit after the match, and so that was awesome. So looking to loafers were the move. Oh, the loafers are always coming out. Now here's the okay. So let's talk about that too.
Where's Matt Evans at on the sideline? Like,
oh, Mevins was back in freaking the West Coast. He was of Florida. He was back in Clearwater, man. He was yeah.
He's on
He
dad duty.
was on daddy duty. Yeah. I made sure to let his wife know that was unacceptable though. But you know, it is what it is. But okay, I'm gonna thank you. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, dude, he'll be there eventually though. And he's still around.
When the kid is grown up, he's 18, he'll be back. Just joking.
Hopefully before then.
So for State and Liberty, I saw your post and I started following them. And I'm actually, I think I'm gonna start getting suits from them.
Hey,
I think so.
I got
I come to you wanting to know, how do they feel? How do they fit? This is a shameless plug. This is a free plug for State and Liberty. So you have the floor to convince me and persuade me to buy this. So what's your elevator pitch for these guys?
So let's talk about a couple of things. First and foremost, they're Michigan men, right? The name of the company is based on 2 intersecting streets in Ann Arbor. So near and dear to my heart, but I did not know that before I actually tried on their clothes. How the clothes feel. I mean, it's moisture wicking, form fitting. It also stretches with your body. So it's great for me on the sidelines because any other suits I feel extremely restricted. And this one, I can sprint down the sidelines. Just saying. And also it helps keep you a little bit cooler on the sidelines. When we're in those venues, like having even in shorts and a t-shirt, I'm like starting to sweat. And so to be able to wear a suit and be comfortable while being on the sidelines is huge. And State and Liberty's been like the only suit that I would wear on our sidelines.
So that brings me to a good point, State and Liberty. All right. My guy, Matt Hornaday, likes to look his best on the sideline. I try my best, and I wake up before a grid event. I look in the mirror and I say, well, what would Matt Hornaday try to dress like? And that's what I try to do. So, like, you have 2 people who would wholeheartedly endorse you on the grid. Just reach out to my guy, Matt. I'll do whatever Matt does. So I'll follow him to the end. So State and Liberty, if you have any connections, hook my boy Matt up, because I promise you, you want some exposure. I mean, one, you're going to get athleticism on the sideline. I'm convinced that the State and Liberty suit and pants is what kept you upright. Let's be real.
That part.
And who doesn't want to look good and feel good while they're on camera? Fico, I even think Fico might even get on it. They may not have jorts, but they might have something close.
There you go. Maybe we'll get on it.
All right. Last thing is the black on black suit for Dallas coming back with the cowboy hat.
We got a new black on black, another State and Liberty suit. So it will be out this season. When we'll see. But I think we already have a plan for match 2. So I got to work on match 3.
Well, guys, I appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the way. Fico, I'll see you in Lakeland. Matt, I'll see you in New York, brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. Appreciate you. That is Fico Gomez, head coach of the Southwest Florida Sharks, and Matt Hornaday, head coach of the Palm Beach Breakers. If you like hearing Matt's story or Fico's story or anything grid related, hit us up on Facebook. Head over to YouTube, like, subscribe, notifications. That way you're first to know when new content is dropped. Just had an episode, a double dose of grid tonight. First episode was with Chelsea Ranieri, the captain of the Southwest Florida Sharks. Second episode was tonight here, what you just saw with Matt Hornaday and Fico Gomez. Got a lot in the works, a lot coming at you, so stay tuned. Appreciate everybody. As always, remember, sharp body, strong minds, grit and grind all the time. We're out.